Welcome into episode 96 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Steph and Loeffler and Junk Wax Twins.
Howdy.
Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Scheffler at Big Shep 79. We are podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
On YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. We hit 500 subs on YouTube this week. I think we shot past it by a few, which is awesome. Very excited there. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere. Check out our website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. What's up, fellas? Another week in collecting. How have you all been?
It is. I got a ton of pages in the mail and find which way the camera goes. And 11 of 19 for the super collection. So
nice.
I love those low numbered Donruss cards that are just random because the rookies are all out at 14, 17, 19. It's awesome.
Yeah.
View in 19. I think that's the milestones. First hit on 5, 18, 19.
That's cool. Well, it's been an exciting week. I purged over about 100,000 cards this week.
Nice.
Monday, I sent out 26 medium flat rate boxes full of cards, and they're showing up at homes. We've gotten a few messages from it, and I appreciate everyone that picked one up. I didn't do it to make any money. It was more to make some space for all my collections, and now I have about 5,000 count boxes empty. So, yeah.
You sent a Twins box to someone else.
They reached out and said, hey, you want these two? It was out there. It was out there.
So, I thought we just had a standing order that.
But you don't want my A's box that's sitting over here.
Why?
Because you have them all, and you said you only need one of each.
Sometimes I lie.
So it's going to another A's collector, Bice Music.
That's all right.
So
Tim's look when he's waiting for a checklist.
Tim's look when Ben says something that seriously.
Yeah. Let's hop into the week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 111. Card 305, Julio Teheran, pitcher, Los Angeles Angels, 2018 cards. Card 306, Gavin Lux, the rookie second baseman of the LA Dodgers, sold just over 6,300. Not a bad week. Both cards performed pretty well.
Here's what it looked like.
Yeah, there's the Lux. I picked up a few from our buddy Matt.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just see the rookies probably right now 5,000 to 7,000. For the bigger names like that, and it's kind of tough right now because they're with no baseball. You really have nothing driving additional sales, so it's all based on.
But I would say even for the Tron getting over 2,000, I mean that's a pretty decent number. So
yeah, it would be really awesome to know how many people are still collecting the entire set, 1 through whatever number we're currently going to be on.
308.
As the weeks go. And the other thing, too, they started that subscription thing as well. So it's hard to know how that impacted it. I imagine it's going to impact it some. Yeah, maybe a slight uptick.
I feel like the only thing that I'm collecting right now is like on demand or online products. I mean, because there's really nothing else. I saw people's Topps Future Stars boxes being delivered this week. I saw mine got held up. It's been at the Citrus Heights mail right up the street here at the post office for like a day or two. So
go get it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, what the hell? I've been there every day this week dropping stuff off. So I'm like, it'll come when it comes, and I'll open it and have fun. But we also had 2020 Bowman first edition we talked about drop last week. 2020 Topps Definitive Collection, which holy smokes, has exploded in price. It's almost like $6,000 a case now, so $2,000 a box. I watched a handful of breaks on this and stuff, and Steph, you said last week that that you hoped not to see white swatches.
Yes,
I've seen some cards open where it's a beautiful, gigantic piece of material, a good third of the card, and it's an all white swatch autographed. It's an on-card autograph of XYZ player, and I understand that a lot of jerseys are gray and white.
Sure.
But there's a lot of patch area on those cards, and the fact that you can't make sure that all those definitive cards have some kind of a stripe, or it's from the sleeve, or hey, how about how about you do a hat relic and get the new Arrow logo? Think if they put hat cards, a game used hat,
Sure.
in a product like that. I mean, these guys are playing 162 games. They're probably not wearing the same hat all the time, or the batting practice hats.
Unless you're Craig Biggio, who
Yeah.
wore one for like 20 years. Steph, what was the manufactured relics that came out about 15 years ago that were the little team helmets? I don't know if you remember.
Mostly football, I think, where they had like a little picture of the team football helmet and they'd sign on the football helmet.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Oakland A's ones that,
I think.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, maybe SP
He's
was
gone
probably
down to the dungeon.
Watch him pull something out of nowhere. That's what I love about him is
that little steak.
Dinner time. I thought he was gonna pull a card out of his ass. Like it cracks me up that you tell Steph something and not only does he know what it is, but he just pulls it out of thin air.
Yeah,
like a magician in 10 seconds. Oh, you mean this?
Sweet.
I just happen to have one on my desk.
Boom! Crackman comes in out of nowhere. Guess from last week.
And so now it's Ryan versus Steph. That's like a battle of one seeds, right? Like ultimate, like Celtics versus Lakers.
Yeah,
I'd like to think so.
Hey, real quick, Scissor Trail asks. He sees the Wichita State hat in the background over here. He was from California, Texas, or Kansas. California and Kansas. Born in Kansas, grew up there for a while, and have been in California like a good 3/4 of my life now. So, yeah. I still claim Kansas, and my mom went to Wichita State, loved the hat. So, we also had Topps 2020 Topps Transcendent Hall of Fame edition drop. If you guys did not see some of the stuff that like Houdini opens, the one with Babe Ruth, the induction class that had a cut of Babe Ruth, Cy Young, Walter Johnson, and Honus Wagner, I think it was.
Amazing piece.
Just insane. And then I saw Phil Hughes open one up, and the cut was a Cy Young cut that was just perfect. I mean, it was a giant, big autograph of Cy Young. It looked like the ink was so clean on it. I mean, it was fabulous. And he set it down and just got up, and it just sat there for a minute. That is what I think made that product. I mean, it's insanely priced, but if you bought a spot and you ended up with the cut Sig one, and I don't think you can go wrong with anybody on that list, especially if you got a quad. That was pretty nice. What's also funny is that in that same case, Phil had the Brett 1-of-1 sketch was in there.
Nice.
And I was like, but
so
that's just something like if I was in a break, if I won it in a raffle, or that's the only way that card's ever coming to me. But it was nice.
I picked up the base A's cards, the Henderson and Eckersley, and they were right in line with what we've seen in the traditional Transcendent the last few years.
It's a beautiful product. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
Cost is so prohibitive of trying to, try to open. Not to one, you don't want to be the guy opening it.
Oh no, not at all.
Unless you sold it as a break and you're just opening it to send to your customers.
Not on your dime, because you're just. I mean, I've seen a few cases of Transcendent open just for fun. You're watching it on the YouTube, and it's awesome to watch because I got no money at all vested in this. Right, I have no vested interest outside of a card collector enjoying a high-end product being ripped, and it's fun to watch. And I have one McGuire auto out of it, and I've got all the base cards and sketch cards that have come out over the last couple of years.
So you have a taste of it. So you have enough to be able to be like, I would like to get one of the Brett sketch cards from one of the sets because I know he's been in a couple of years.
They're
just to have one, and that way it's like I have a taste of it,
Well, in fact, I just realized a month or two ago that Jimmy Fox was done in 2018. I think I might have mentioned this on last week's show. I don't know how I missed it, probably searching Oakland and not Athletics. I picked one up this week for $15 shipped. That's the sketch card. I think it's numbered out at like 83 or something like that. So, that stuff is extremely affordable on the secondary market if you're buying base cards, sketch cards, even some of the autos can be had for, depending on the player, less than $200, which is affordable at the very least. Maybe not inexpensive, but affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, Steph just dropped something that came out this week. We'll talk about it right now. Utz. Their starting lineup pack is on sale on their website. We don't have Utz here in California. I mean, we have their pub mix and like popcorn or pretzels, but we don't have the chip bags where the snack pack bags where you can get the cards. And they came out this week. If you go to the website, $23.99, and you're getting like 3-4 bags of. You're getting some bags of chips and then some snack pack chips as well, and then some Topps trading cards. So, do you buy it? Like that's thinking about that. So, but real quick, going back to the Transcendent, would I rather spend the money and buy a sketch card of Brett from Transcendent, or would I rather buy a PSA 6 or 7 75 Topps? It's.
Well, you have to ask yourself this. I know we're going to get into a topic later about defining a PC, and we've talked about it in the past, is only you, Shep, can ask yourself this question. We all have to ask ourselves this question. With money being a finite resource, if I'm going to spend $40, and these are the only 2 cards available, and I'm going to spend the $40 no matter what in the hobby, what makes my PC better? The Brett sketch card, which I don't have, or another 75 Brett that might be graded better, higher than anything else I've got.
Or even ungraded.
I do have, for me, let's put it at an 85 McGuire just because it's more expensive than the 87. There was one today that popped on Twitter for $15, and it's fairly sharp. Price wasn't bad, but it's like at $15, do I need yet another 85, or can I take that $15 and buy a AJ Puck or Sean Murphy tribute auto, which I don't have, or another handful of base cards to complete another team set? We have to ask ourselves, if that $15, what's going to make our PC better tomorrow than it was today? We're spending that money equally, it was what's available right now.
I think, to me personally, I much rather have the Brett rookie, and the reason being is because when I was a kid, it was so unobtainable.
Mm-hmm.
So unobtainable.
That's why I've bought so many 85 McGuires, even though I prefer the 87. The 85 is so.
How many are you up to now?
I would have to take a look at my spreadsheet, but I think we're at 63 or 64.
So you're going to get to at least 85, right?
I plan to get 100 of those eventually.
Why not just 99? That way they'd fit the pages just right.
Because not all of them are in pages. I've got a few that are graded, and I've got one that will never go in a page, and that was the one I had as a kid. That one will never get mixed up with the rest. But it's one of those things. I'd like to get as many as I can by the time I die. I'm just not pursuing them.
They're on your lap.
Yeah, I mean, the other day there was 3 of them in a lot on eBay for $15. How do you say no to buying 3 at the same time for $15 shipped? I mean, that was too good of a deal. I've got like 14 or 15 Ricky Henderson rookies, all really low grade. If you're buying them for $5, $6, $7, it's hard to say no. But I'm not going to go type in 1980 Ricky Henderson right now on eBay. Yeah, maybe one day if I'm bored, I might. But
no, it's like you don't pass one up at a card show if it's a good deal. You don't pass up at the LCS if it's a good deal, the card shop if it's a good deal. Like you just don't walk by them. If they pop into your life, like you see one on Twitter, on that other social media page, which I think we should all social distance ourselves from.
But right now, I wouldn't fault you for going on eBay and typing in Transcendent George Brett sketch and see what comes up and what price point. And if it's affordable for your current budget, at least throw it in your watch list, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm watching a card right now that's an old 1888 Ginter card that's less than $10 shipped, and I don't need it. It's cool to have because it's 132 years old. But I was talking to my dad about it yesterday. I'm like, if it's there on Friday when I get paid, maybe I throw $7-8 at it, whatever it comes to out the door, just to have it because it's 132 years old. But if somebody else bought it in the meantime, whatever. It's not the end of the world. I throw a lot of stuff in my watch list that you almost hope that somebody buys out from under you.
I'm just looking. You have me looking now. There's a
Why
few.
not?
Brent and Becca has one from last year, the sketch card. So
yeah, but if you're going to buy it from Brent, just email him.
Oh
or
yeah,
text him.
Yeah. So, hey, I have a quick question, Steph. Do you have the '84 Fleer Update Puckett rookie?
I do.
Nice. That is a ridiculous set.
I honestly thought that I would have a harder time picking that up than the rest of the set, but I had, prior to Sport Lots, I had a bigger issue finding locally the other 3 twins in the set than the Puckett.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll hop into it off the press this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 112. Card 307, Gary Sheffield, outfielder, Florida Marlins. And card 308, Dylan Cease, rookie pitcher of the Chicago White Sox. Interesting. I mean, we haven't had a lot of retired stars, non-Hall of Famers in this set. Jeter, but now he's in the Hall of Fame because he wasn't thin yet. Bo Jackson. I have to pull up the list here to give me a sec.
Not very many outside of Bo Jackson because Jeter never counted.
I think Don Mattingly.
Yeah, he's one. Jackson's one. Can't think of anybody else. Ralph Kiner's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
Yes,
I believe so.
So yeah, there's not that Sheffield's pretty nice looking. It's sharp.
I like how it's the helmet and then all the blur in the helmet.
Yeah, but it brought up an interesting question today. What's going on with the Brewers not getting much love? According to Matt, there hasn't been a Brewer since last June.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull that up and see when the last Brewer was.
Yeah, I think it was last June, according to what Matt had said today. And
they have 6 cards total, which is the lowest amount by any team. Most teams have 8. I mean, if you count the Expos, they have 2, but
you got to lump them in with the Nationals.
Yeah. So let's see. The last Brewer was Keston here, card 197. We're at 308.
Which is more interesting because now you're doing a 2-pack, so those numbers aren't moving as quick as they used to be.
Yeah.
So interesting trivia. What with McGuire being a home run hitter, and you got Tim. Semi-encyclopedic knowledge. Of the 500 home run club players, only 3 of them have never led their league in home runs.
Oh.
And I'll spoil it. One of them's Gary Sheffield.
Reggie Jackson?
Nope.
I'd have to think about that.
Yeah.
Killebrew?
Killer led in 69.
Okay.
Griffey.
McGuire.
Griffey?
56 and 97. 6, somewhere in there. No, a spoiler, Frank Thomas, which was surprising. And who was the other?
You're going to have a trivia and not remember the 3 answers?
Look, I remember 2 or 3.
So the retired players not in the Hall of Fame that have been in this: Deion Sanders, Todd Helton, Bo Jackson, at the time, Derek Jeter, Don Mattingly, Bernie Williams, and Thurman Munson. So most of them, 4 of them were Yankees.
And Munson has a pretty big asterisk just because of unfortunate. Yeah. And I think Helton gets in. I really do think Helton gets in.
I think at some point,
5 or 6 years.
Yeah. We're going to have a question later talking about
Rafael Palmeiro.
Oh, yeah. Talking about the Rockies and some of the expansion teams that have been out recent in the last few years. So,
yeah, but that Sheffield's sharp, and I know the Brewers aren't, the outside of Robin Yount, there's not any, in your face guy. I mean, Molitor.
Yeah, but you got to think though. I mean, what if they did one at Uke?
Yeah, Rob Deere. Yeah,
I mean,
there's
I don't
there's
think Rob
plenty of
Deere gets one.
Probably not, but again, you're talking about like fan favorites. I think that there are fan favorites that people. I'd buy a Rob Deere.
But I'm just saying, there's 1,000 guys you could name before Rob Deere that probably deserve one.
Johan Santana
With the Brewers.
No, not with the Brewers. You got to think of their current team though. Ryan Braun, Lorenzo Kane. I mean, they have some decent players on that team right now.
But Braun's had one.
What's up?
Braun had one.
Did he have one?
He did have one. Sogard had one, I believe, as a Brewer.
Yeah, see, that's what's sad when Eric Sogard was one of your.
Mm-hmm. And I picked up Sogard because he's an XA. But I think if you started doing more fan favorites that people, Gorman Thomas, Cecil Cooper, I think there will be guys. I don't know, just kind of throwing some names out there. They don't have a large list of guys to pull from. Yeah. Well, we know John Jaha would be a very highly sought after one up in the above the Canadian border.
Yeah, he's the one who suggested it.
There are a lot of 10 to 15 of them. I think that you could probably add, but come on, it's been almost one calendar year. You're telling me you can't squeeze somebody in from Milwaukee?
Braun was card 165, by the way.
There's got to be enough Brewers over the years you could squeeze somebody in.
Well, yeah. How does Molitor not have one?
Yeah, but Molitor probably gets one with either Minnesota or Toronto, though.
But he played a majority of his career with the Brewers.
You got
I don't disagree.
So, yeah, I just feel bad because, I remember, when I was bitching about there were any Royals coming out for the longest time. And, they finally started picking up a little bit. Even Brandon Woodruff.
Hank Aaron on the Brewers.
There we go. I think a couple popular ones this year could be Brock Holt for the Brewers. And did Yelich have one?
Yeah, he did have one because he had the sunglasses on.
Oh,
Kevin Jones brought up Raleigh fingers. Obviously, he had an A, so he doesn't qualify. But Ben Ogilvy, Ted Higuera, Ted Simmons, B.J. Surhoff, there was one that we kind of overlooked.
Local Sacramento legend, Chris Bosio or Doug Henry.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at us coming up with random-ass Brewer names.
What about, oh, golly, Moose Haas. Wasn't he a Brewer in an A?
He was for a while, yeah.
Let's get in. Let's move on. Check out at Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and by position. We have one new release this week, 2019-2020 Upper Deck Hockey Credentials dropped today, around $100 a box. 8 packs per box, 6 cards per pack, 1 to 2 autographs. There's going to be a metal or acetate card in there, 5 debut ticket access or parallels, and then 5 additional inserts. It's a 50-card base set, and the next 100 cards are all debut ticket access cards, which also have autographed versions. It's the debut for this release. Provisions are back.
I think that's
their first on the show.
96, 95, somewhere in there.
Yeah, right before he came on the show, we saw a tweet from Ryan about Provisions, and oh, good lordy, one of my favorites, little subset insert sets every year. The idea behind the line is to make a hockey card equivalent of the sights, sounds, and science of the game. At the conclusion of every game, the 3 stars are named. That's the inspiration for Star of the Night, which has a separate Star 1, Star 2, and Star 3. They have Through the Boards and Through the Board Young Bloods. Both use acetate stock to offer a collector a glimpse of through the glass level of the card. And then they have steel wheels that have a metal stock, and they're supposed to be like skate blades. So the acetate card makes it look like you're looking through the plexi, and then they have a metal card that's supposed to represent the skate blade. So that's...
I'm not going to lie. Those acetate cards are amazing.
Yeah. So that's super duper cool. I watched a break on this today, and they're sharp looking. I mean, You know, they have that ticket access that kind of looks like Contenders.
Right.
You know, but you know, it's still cool. It has their like day, you know, has a special game I think on there, and it's, you know, they look sharp. So
No,
what are you gonna say?
Credit to Upper Deck. When we were talking about this before the show started, I had said this is the kind of stuff that would make me want to collect hockey if I wasn't set in stone with my PC. If I'm just kind of figuring it out and I liked, you know, wasn't 100% certain. This is a set right here that it would be all over because these cards are just awesome to me.
Yeah, and for $100 a box, you're going to get an auto or two, and then you're going to get a metal or an acetate card and a bunch of inserts, and you get a Provision. That Brent Burns is amazing. Look at that,
Yeah.
like a Texas flag, and he's out, looks like a lumberjack, and there's a horse and chickens in the back, and we're gonna have a story about chickens later in the show. Yeah, look at that, like a leopard and a lion, and
the Provisions. That is just a fun card, no matter which way you slice it, whether it's part of your PC or not. I mean, that would be a fun set to collect.
Steph, does it say how many per box or anything on the notes there?
I think it said 1 in 120
packs. Oh, 1 in 120. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
It's only six cards.
Only 6 cards.
That might be a set to build.
Yeah.
That's sexy. Look at that Capo Keiko.
Yeah, Upper Deck really knocked this one out of the park. That is a solid looking set.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hats off to them.
Yeah. I already had mine off, so I did that to honor this set for them. I was being forward thinking.
So that was the new release this week. Check out Ryan's Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on these new releases. What's brewing next week's releases?
Yep, that's it.
There we go.
Where are we looking? Are we looking? Yeah, there's
nothing scheduled.
Nothing scheduled.
It's like when the doctor looks inside Ben's ear with the little, and it just sees right through.
Right through it. The light comes out on the other side. I mean, there's nothing scheduled till the 13th in baseball. I mean,
and that's still kind of iffy.
You know that's not going to hold.
I think it's June before we see some new releases pop. So
yeah, and all that's going to do is people are going to redirect their hobby dollars elsewhere.
Yeah. Like I said, there's online releases, retails out there if you can find any. You know, so let's hop into Infield Chat, our Hobby Talk section of the show. The Hobby Hotline live this Saturday on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook at 8 a.m. Pacific.
Who is it?
11 a.m. Eastern. We have the Mike Summer from Wax Pack Hero Sports Card Minute, Drew Herndon for Let Me Get the Potograph, and the great Doug Caskey from Mojo Breaks the Hype. They will be on this week. That'll be a great show. Tune in, check out all the channels we're on. The Hobby Hotline shows up as well.
Check out last weekend's show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's probably going to be a special guest appearance by Rich Klein because Uncle Rich, he just calls in on Saturday and hangs out with everybody.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. So I really quick before we get into the rest of this, I forgot to talk about this early on, but my buddy Lost Collector, we gave away the bookmark, the extra bookmark a couple weeks ago, and he was doing coasters, and so I got them today, and you get 4, and I think I got a great deal, but I have an 87 Topps wax pack, and he turned it into a coaster. I mean, this is like a hard piece of tile, and then 88, 89, and 90. Those are the four of my big years of collecting, and they are awesome. I'm already using them. I was super stoked to get these in the mail yesterday and have them here. It just kind of adds to the decor of this amazing room that I'm allowed to have that so graciously my wife lets me have. So it's they're great. So check him out at Lost_Collector. He's got a bunch of cool art stuff. We're going to talk more about some art things later coming up. A couple friends got together on a set, and then also someone else just dropped some artwork this week. So that's what a lot of the cards I've been buying are more art. And I think this Project 2020 has driven some people that we know that were already doing cards, like artistic cards or renditions, to put them out. We've had Ken Carl on the show, and he's an amazing talent. We'll talk about a couple other friends that are doing them as well. But let's hop into it. So there's an update on Panini's Redemptions. So they tweeted this out just this week. I want to say it was Monday. or was it yesterday? But one of the 2 days. First wave of upgrades made to Panini America's new customer service platform. So when you click on it now and you enter a redemption code that might be expired, instead of last week when they said, go, take a shit in the woods, it says this redemption code is expired per existing policy. Is the only company in the industry that continues to work with collectors with expired redemptions. If the card is available, we work to provide that to you. If not available, we are willing to offer you half the value determined by Panini America and Panini reward points as a continued courtesy. So at least they came back and said, okay, we're going to try to work with you and do that. There was a great follow-up to this tweet by them by @hoot_cards. It says, thanks for the smart-ass response. Do the right thing. It's not a continued courtesy to give you the card you sold. Why only half the value? It's not my fault you promised a card on the checklist that was never made. So a couple things here. When we talk about expired redemptions, and we want to say it's if you enter a redemption today that expires tomorrow, they're still going to honor that because it was entered in before the date that expired on the redemption. But if you entered a redemption today that expired yesterday, now that redemption is expired, but they're going to try to honor that card for you. Now, sometimes this can be years in advance, and I don't blame them after a full physical year not to accept a redemption card after a full year of the product been open, because usually they give about 2 years on there. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. It might be 26 months to do a redemption. It sucks. It's just part of the world that we live in. My question to you guys real quick, what do you think of the new policy?
At least it's something. And, as you were just stressing, that these are expired redemptions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we had a buddy here locally that reached out today out of the blue and replied and added that more than half had the opinion that a redemption card was the equivalent of a gift certificate that was paid for when the product was purchased. A gift certificate does not expire per the Universal Commerce something, the UCC.
They used to, though. Who remembers those days?
Uniform Commercial Code. I like the idea that they are essentially kind of like a gift certificate towards something, and at least Panini's attempting to give you something towards what you'd purchased. But it's better than nothing.
What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, Who Cards obviously has never owned a business and doesn't understand anything about business ownership. I get that. We've talked about this in the past. There's so much noise on Twitter, and we've talked about the fact that some of these companies just don't interact with the consumer base as much as they should. And this is exactly why. You don't attack them. They're coming out and they're trying to revise their policy. Yeah, it's not a popular one, but at the end of the day, most of us would agree that they're doing what's in the best interest of their company, which is their right to do. We've mentioned on the Hobby Hotline that at least give Panini points or something as a good faith gesture. People act like Panini and Topps and Upper Deck, when they throw these redemptions in there, they're sitting on their ass for 2 years. Oh, we're not going to try to get this player to sign. Come on. They have a vested interest trying to get this player to sign. Sometimes it's going to happen. Sometimes it won't. We all know that guys like Julio Jones don't like to sign. That's fine. That guy doesn't sign. So maybe the best thing to do is not include them on your checklist as a signer moving forward. But they're going to do everything that they can within their best efforts to get these players to sign. Yeah. It's not going to happen. But open up a product 5 years ago, and then it's like, well, you promised it. Yeah, I promised it to you 5 years ago that I would do my best. What am I supposed to do? Hold out to this card until the year 2030? Now 15 years, hoping that someday, Knucklehead Hoot Cards decides to open up the box and wants to send it in? Come on. Yeah. Don't be a jackass.
No, so I agree. They're the only ones in the industry doing it. They're trying to work with customers, and I get that, right? A couple things is like, when these products are released, releasing who is a redemption in it. That way, if it's a third-party seller or a breaker opening the product years from now, they can go, hey, there's redemptions in here. They expire. They're expired. These are the hits. So know going into it, hey, listen, like you're not looking. So say it was a product that has this is going to be a subject. Now, I heard Doug and Dan talking about this. I think the reason they did this, the reason they changed their policy, was because Kobe passed away. He had a large number of redemptions. I remember watching Phil Hughes. I was cruising through his channel. I mean, I've had so much time to watch YouTube videos working from home. I like to have some noise on when I'm working. And he was opening a box of Prism basketball, and he got a redemption for a Kobe autograph. And this was, I think he opened it in November or December. And he was like, oh, I'm excited to get this Kobe autograph. But I think that spurned them to put this out because now they're going to have a flood of people saying, hey, I want this Kobe autograph.
Right.
So I don't know. My thing is that they don't have the card. They don't have it in there. Would you rather they just don't put it in there? Would you rather have the redemption, or would you rather have them insert Panini points?
Well, I mentioned this, and I can't remember because we've talked about this both on our show and the Hobby Hotline. But I had mentioned that Stadium Club Matt Olson he signed it literally as that product must have went to market, because once you had one, they were damn near live the second the product went live, right? You open it up on a Wednesday, and on a Thursday, people already had the live card listed. It was that friggin' quick. I mean, it's probably like literally a 3 to 5 day turnaround. Yeah. Enough time to be able to get it into Topps, and Topps was shipping them out immediately. It was like they're doing their best that they can to get these products signed, and sometimes they cross in the mail. And sometimes, like, look right now, you have players that are not going to sign during this window of shelter in place. It's just what's going to happen. Drew Herndon had mentioned that too, about this might be the Kobe policy, and you have to think that they're doing what's in their best interest. I admire Panini for backing off of their line in the sand and trying to make an effort. But again, if you're opening up a product within a 2-year window, they're going to honor it. It's what happens on day, 2 years in 1 day. Okay, just Chris Torres mentioned in the chat, we're going to have to be smarter buyers about buying products that are older than 2 years and understanding that those redemptions might be in there. And if they are, they might not get fulfilled. Most likely they won't. Know what you're buying before you buy it. Be a smart buyer. That way you don't have a chance to bitch. But everybody has social media nowadays. And it's really easy to hop on blowout threads or a Facebook page and, So it's just it's a very convoluted and multi-tiered, conversation. People like to argue and it's like, hey, back off. They're doing the best that they can. It's in their best interest to fulfill these redemptions.
No, yeah. Yeah, I think Chris says here, wasn't the original purpose of the points to replace redemptions, but now they're starting to put both in products. So yeah. It's
not an exact science, especially when you're a manufacturer that's predicated on not one third party, multiple third parties, hundreds of third parties, that are actively, in a normal year. Let's set this unique year aside. These guys, baseball guys, play 162 games in 180 days, and it's not going to be as easy to get these guys to sign. Not 5 autographs, thousands of autographs.
Yeah,
it's what it is. We have to be a little bit more understanding. But to think that Panini's not standing by what their intention was, come on, knucklehead.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. See, this is why I'm not a big fan of the autograph. Like legitimately, how many, AJ Puk autographs do you have to have, or how many autographs of Tom Brady does a Tom Brady collector need?
Right.
I have probably 5 or 6 Brett autos, and I'm okay with it. You know why? Because I much rather have every card he was ever on than have a whole bunch of his autographs and have to pay those prices. It's like once you have like the audit, like I don't get it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have so many autographs and all that. You know, just it feels like Anyway, no one's ever going to be happy in this situation. I'm just telling you, like that's just the way it's going to be. So.
And it goes.
Usually only pick up one, and then that's enough. Whether it's I pick a pretty product, a pretty design, something that looks nice, and then it goes in a binder, and I have one of that guy.
Yeah.
If I come across more at a nice price, hey, sure, but
like, I go through, and most of the time if I'm going to get a rookie autograph of a Royal or a Giant, I go to Topps Chrome. One, because they're usually pretty affordable, but plus it's a cool looking card, you know, or Bowman Chrome. That's a great auto. But I was going through some of those autos today, and it's like half of these first Bowman autos I have from the Royals, the guys never made it. You know, never ever got close to making it. And it's like, then there's guys that make it that never had a first Bowman auto. And you're like, what the hell? What were they looking at? Well, you know,
and look at somebody like Kevin Merrill, who was a second-round pick for the A's a couple years back, and then he gets traded in the Homer Bailey deal to Kansas City. Should, as an A's fan, I be excited about having a Kevin Merrill auto in my collection? Maybe he circles back around at some point and plays for Oakland. But as of right now, he's in the Kansas City organization. No guarantee he ever plays at the big league level. I have his autograph. Big freaking deal, right?
Yeah.
Now, prefacing, because you used AJ Puck as an example, and I've said this before, I've met him multiple times, and he's been nothing but gracious with my son. Okay, not me. I don't really care. You don't want to shake my hand. I'm an adult. That's cool. But he's been nothing but cool. He stopped and talked to me every time for a few minutes. He's been nothing but great to Bentley. So I'm going to be a fan of AJ Puck for his entire career, whether that's all in Oakland or if he ends up on any number of teams that I can't stand. You know, he ends up in New York with the Yankees or as a Ranger, an Angel. I'm still going to be a fan of his as a human being because he was a good kid to my son. Sure. And so I might collect him a little bit more than the next guy who I don't have a personal attachment to because I've never met that person. But again, it goes back to the point. You have to ask yourself, you know, I unwatched a McGuire Henderson dual auto out of Definitive today because it jumped over $100. And I'm just like, $100, am I better off buying 100 cards I need off of my checklist from the 90s? Does that make my PC better than another of Henderson and McGuire that I have multiples of? You know, if I've got a dozen Hendersons and a dozen McGuires, do I need one with both of them on the same card? Yeah, it would be awesome, but be smart about how we're spending our hobby dollars. Don't buy it just because it's there. But only you can make that decision for yourself. What makes your PC better? That's why it's your personal collection and not mine.
Yeah. No, definitely. Speaking of a nice personal collection, this is probably one of the ugliest sets of the 90s, 91, 92 SkyBox. But at PDX Graffin tweeted out today, juice to add 42 new signed cards to my 91, 92 SkyBox set. I now have 400 signed out of the 594 in this set. Found a longtime grapher. We worked out a deal. I've been trying to crack down a Pippin and Drazen Petrovic for years. So dope to add these clean cards to the collection. Drazen Petrovic died in 93.
God, has it been that long?
I think so. He died in a car crash.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up right now. But, he passed away in June 7th of 93 in Germany. He was a stud. Yeah. Stud. But this set with the autograph, I mean, to me, it's one of the ugliest. But that is a hell of an accomplishment to be chasing down a set from 30 years ago, basically, autographed.
Yeah, anytime you can complete that, I know a lot of people have been trying like the '87 Topps or other late '80s autograph sets. And unfortunately, these players have passed on, or certain players won't sign, or you have to track down, an address for these guys. That's damn impressive, especially when a guy, there are four guys now who have passed away from the '89 World Series A's. So that would be hard enough with those, but they died more recently. Yeah, Drazen died at such a young age, and it's been 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he signed something like that back then,
in that particular set,
before autos became, a thing.
Yeah.
Right around the time.
This set came out 2 seasons before he passed.
Right.
So,
when was the first signature? Was a major set that actually had signatures? What, signature rookies?
Dude.
Upper Deck had.
The first time I remember getting autographs in packs was like 96 or 97. SkyBox autographics.
Sure.
Yeah,
So,
I got out of the hobby around late '92, early '93, and I don't remember there being autos at that time.
Upper Deck had in 90, was it 90 and 90? They started in 90 or 91. The autographs of the heroes, those the heroes ones, but and those are so super rare.
Or had the alleged Jeter or Ted Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Petrovic is like a holy grail for somebody like.
And look at the condition of that
collector.
card.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It's barely. It's yellowed a little on the edge, but still
slight ding in the corner. But even then, I look at together. All of them are in blue. All of them are nice.
Yeah,
in a row.
Hey, do you see that? He's got a Dwayne Coswell. Look at all the Kings he has on there. It's Travis Mays, Dwayne Coswell, Jim Les. I played basketball with Jim Les before. That's pretty awesome.
I'd be curious to know what he paid for the Drazen, because I can't imagine.
Sold a kidney.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to know what he paid for it.
Yeah. Another great, of course, Jordan's going to be in there, so that's probably one he needs. So that would be a hard one to pull down, but
it's probably attainable.
Yeah.
Again, I've talked to, many people probably mentioned it on the show. There's the old, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there was a dog food company in the early 50s that did a regional Philadelphia A's set. And
Red Heart?
Pardon me?
Red Heart?
It might have been, yeah. It's one of those things that they did it like in 53 and 54, something like that, 54, 55. Even if you were instantly a multimillionaire, right? You drop $30 million in my lap, right? So money's not an issue. Find them. There's 47 different cards one year. Last time I looked online, there were like 7 listed, 7 different players, I should say. And, reasonably, you might be able to piece the set together for $3,000 to $5,000 total if you were lucky enough to find them. And that's what it comes down to is, if I'm a millionaire, I'd love to buy a T206 Eddie Plank. But guess what? You got to find one available for sale. And that's always going to be the key. So with something like this, I imagine the Jordan is probably attainable, maybe not in his price range, but I imagine the majority of the 200 he's missing probably could be had if you dropped there. Yeah, that's the set. If you drop the money in his lap, I bet he could probably check off most of those 200 without skipping a beat. The Drazen and then probably a handful of other cards are probably going to be the ones that are super, super difficult.
Yeah, because I think Moses Malone might be in there.
But Malone died, 10 years ago now?
Just a couple years ago.
So there's still plenty of time. Again, going back to the 89 World.
That specific set wasn't super popular at that time. For basketball cards. I remember collecting them. So
how long has he been looking to get the set, though?
No, I know. I'm just saying that's pretty. I'm impressed. He has 400 of them. Let's just start there, right?
It's like the guy that had the Carlton Fisk game tickets. I was trying to get a game ticket for every
game he played in.
Yeah, I think it was
was it Dan, like 20?
Was it like Korean Cardboard? I think it was his friend.
Yeah,
he was down to like less than 20, and it's like, dude, what a stupid, insane. What a PC to try to go for. Could you imagine sitting down right now and saying, I'm going to get every ticket that George Brett ever played in?
No.
or Mark McGuire, and just think that would be such a insurmountable. I have a headache just thinking about
Just trying to figure out the games.
where would you start with something like that. I mean,
you don't. You're a crazy person.
that I kudos when I say it was a stupid crazy PC, that was with all the sincerity and love.
Oh yeah,
and
no, it
admiration.
makes my brain sweat.
That's amazing. Yeah, it is Dan's buddy. He said it in the. I thought it was.
Would you rather have to do that of a player, or would you rather be like Steph's weird mind and have to collect where it's like a glove of a Twins player, or it's the dot USA, or it's the copyright is turned two quarter links the other, or clockwise 2 turns too many, or
you're giving me shit about that, but I just had someone who's on the Saber baseball card account shoot me a DM and say, hey, so I know this is the thing you're talking about, and I know nobody's really done it, but since I have a lot of free time, I bought a 1991 Donruss factory set, and I've scanned every single card, and I've uploaded them to Trading Card DB as the factory set variation because they have slightly different spray paints on the side. Do you want the twin set?
Oh, see if you can give me the A set.
Sure.
I'll buy it. I mean, see if he'll give it to me. But hey, check this out. I would rather have, to answer your question, Shep, I would rather do the Carlton Fisk, George Brett, Mark McGuire, because there's a finite amount, right? You could theoretically go back to their rookie year and find out every game that they played in and at least pursue it. Because with variations, God only knows. Look at this dumb thing that now Steph and I are both trying to get the team sets from. Message him right now because I want to, while it's on your mind.
I've made a note.
All right. So we've talked a little bit about Project 2020 here and there, and I'm still pissed because Brett only still has 2 cards. Mm-hmm. He had one released last week, but some guys are up to like 4 or 5 now.
I don't think that many. I don't think there's more than 3.
No, I think someone has 4. I think
if it is, it'd probably be Mattingly or Gwen. I think Gwen.
Yeah, I think Mattingly has 4.
I thought he only had 3, unless yesterday's was his 4th.
I'm pissed, but I'm hoping there's another Brett this week. They can keep taking my $20 a week. I'm fine with that because I got the first one in. I'm very excited. I've decided not to buy them secondary. I'm just going to buy them directly from Topps because I'm only going to save like $3, and I understand that's basically a couple free cards, but I want to get them as quick as I can, and not have something happen where, because the Bretts have had low print runs, have something happen where I buy it through a third party and it's like, well, I didn't get my shipment, and then I have to go out on the secondary market and spend 2 or 3 times the amount. So I've decided to do that.
What's cool though is we're getting a couple of people like Blake Jameson, one of the artists.
Yeah,
I heard he might be coming. Yeah, he's coming on next week. He mentioned that the Ricky Henderson is dropping on Monday, and then he's going to be doing Mike Trout after that. He didn't give us a date. So yeah, it's not consistent, which kind of sucks because you never know when they're going to come calling for your $20 bill. Just real quick, Steph, it was 1955 Rodeo Meats was the team set.
Well, it's not an set.
But I do have the Red Heart Gus Zernial that you showed on my want list. But
there have been, it looks like 2 Reds.
I wish they would, even just a couple of days out, let you know who's coming up so you can kind of prepare this. Drop it tomorrow. Whoops, now it's
they give you a couple of days. They give you a couple of days to buy it. So,
and they at least with the Jeter, they said, "Hey, there's a thing coming."
Yeah, that's because there wasn't a Jeter release for a while, and everybody got kind of hinky about it.
Right.
So, because we didn't know that he was going to be the 20th because he wasn't on the second checklist or something like that dropped.
Yeah. So Once a Cup says, buy the bundle, try to flip the second to pay. Yeah, that's another idea too, is to buy the bundle and flip the second one.
Yeah, wait 3 days before you list it.
Yeah. But no, so there was the first Mike Trout 1/1 was sent and pulled because they send the 1/1s randomly out, and our friend Twins Jake actually received the card. It's the Ermsey. Is that how you'd say it? Ermsey?
Yeah, I think so.
Ermsey Trout 1/1, and he sold that back on what was it, 4/18. So he sold it a couple of weeks ago for $4,500, and we know he was paid for it because he talked about it. But then I even put out a tweet today saying someone flipped it and sold it just 4 days ago for $4,200 at a loss of $300. Even Twins Jake came out and tweeted like that he was paid for it. And I'm going to pull up his exact tweet here. Oh, yeah, I'm confused too. I wonder if something happened in their life where they needed the money. I hope that's not the case. It's odd. So, a couple of things pop up. Did the significant other in the relationship freak out that someone spent $4,500 on a one-of-one Trout? Was there a job loss? It seems to me to be a really terrible decision to spend that money on a card and take a $300 loss on it. 6 days later, 7 days later. I don't know. I just don't. I don't have. It was a week later. I don't have $4,500 I can flip and take a $300 loss on. I mean,
right?
Were they thinking they could get 7,000 or 8,000 for it? Because then that's worth it.
I honestly, the only thing I could think of, and I know that we were all kind of privately talking about this before the show and earlier via DMs after we saw Ivan's tweet. I honestly think that this guy, assuming it's a guy, this person bought this card on margin, right? That they bought it for $4,500 thinking they had a $5,500 sale maybe locally in the bag, and then after they bought it, paid for it, probably didn't have the $4,500, just were trying to make a quick, $500, $600, $700, $800, and then their private sale fell through, and so they had to sell it again, and cashing out $4,200 against a $4,500 sale isn't the end of the world. Yeah, you're coming upside down, but at least you're getting a good portion of your money back. And if you're desperate because you didn't really have the $4,500 to begin with, I can't see something happen in 7 days to where, again, unless a wife beat him over the head with a, proverbial beat over the head with a frying pan because, he or she didn't have authorization from the spouse, significant other. That's the only thing I can think of is you bought on margin. You didn't really have that money to spend, and you cashed out quick.
My thing is I to me, and this is just a rule I have. I buy cards with cash, and I have my PayPal. I have a personal PayPal, and I also have one for my selling on eBay and stuff, where I have a business one. But with the business one, which was really awesome, is I got a debit card. So I have basically have a PayPal debit card where I can take and I can go use that when I go buy retail or I'm at the shop or I'm at a card show or whatever, and I can take that money and use it just like I'm using a regular debit or credit card, which is awesome. So there are avenues to do that, and that's just my preference. I don't prefer unless you have like one certain card that's dedicated for your hobby, and you're like, hey, like if you're really diligent about paying your bills and keeping that down. It doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I don't know. That's just my thought. I think a lot of people get over their heads on this, and then they have to take a loss, or they buy into something they think they're going to get. See, this takes us to a whole bigger. We need to have this. This is a standalone topic, I think, on its own. I would like to do via the hobby hotline one day, but people buy, say, like Bowman draft this year, right? You had Rushman and all those guys in there, Andrew Vaughn, all these sought after prospects that we really don't know truly how good they are. I mean, Rushman is a switch hitting catcher with power and speed. He's got the arm, and he looks the part.
Matt Wieters. Sorry. What?
Yeah, but he looks the part. And we all thought that about Matt Wieters. And he goes number one, but you buy a box hoping to pull his card, and the box is $500. But you can buy like his first Bowman autograph. But you could go on the secondary market and spend like $375, $400, and just buy the damn card itself,
and guarantee yourself that.
Yeah, I understand you're losing out on getting the gold, or you're losing out on getting all the other cards that would be in there. But if you're in a hunt of that one specific card, just take the money and buy the damn card. I know it's not as much fun as pulling it, but I don't know. Anyway. Unless you have just stupid money and you can open it and have fun doing it, then awesome. I used to open Bowman all the time, and it was, when a jumbo box was under $200 a box. Most of the time is 150, 175. But now at 450, it's just a ripoff. And I'm going to go in and buy all the singles and all the base sets for cheap because these guys have to recoup some of the money because the 3 autos they pulled were second rounders that they were all pitchers.
Well, and even to a lesser extent, I mean, we were on the show when I found that eBay link for Topps Holiday for $17.99.
Yeah, oh yeah, we both bought sets.
I mean, you can't buy a blaster box for that price, but someone's buying out a set. Or speaking personally, some of it was just for the occasional rip here and there. But I was opening up a ton of Topps Update, trying to chase my rookies gold card or anything better. And I finally got to the point where I was 1 card shy of the base set, and I just said, "Fuck it, I'll buy the gold number to 2019 off eBay."
Yeah,
I think I spent $17, but I could have bought another blaster for the same price and struck out. So make the smart move.
Yeah.
You really have to decide again for your PC what makes the most sense. If you're spending more money chasing on the hope, it'd be awesome if you pulled a Rushman out of a pack. That'd be cool. Who wouldn't want that? But if you can guarantee yourself, and again, that's just my personal choice for my PC, why I got away from opening packs, because there was nothing in there for me. I bought 10 packs of Donruss the other day. My wife happened to find them at a Dollar Tree. Cool. It was fun to rip them open. I got a couple cool cards. Pulled a Man of Steel yellow Ricky Henderson for me. That was worth the $10 in and of itself. I pulled a yellow Tatis and a Diamond King yellow Alonso. So there was some other stuff. I'm sure I can sell it all and get my $10 back. But at the same time, if you're spending $10 is what it is. Going back to the Trout 1 of 1, if you're spending $45 trying to make $150, cool. Worst case scenario, you're out $45. I think most of us could lose $45, cry about it for a while, but be all right at the end of the day. $4,500, again, $500 on a box of Bowman, trying to pull a card, and the odds are so
against you,
so much against you. It's not even funny. And the thing is, if it's not Rushman, you want Bobby Witt. But if it's not Bobby Witt, then what's your 3rd guy, or what's your 5th guy or 10th guy? Because if you start to get after those top 2 or 3, you're done. Yeah. You either pull them or you don't.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so there was somebody that we're gonna say hoarding Bowman first edition. So last week they released Bowman 2020 Bowman first edition on those 10 card $15 packs on Topps site that blew up the site for a couple of days, and people are losing their minds. So someone tweeted out today that they had 240 packs available. You had to buy a minimum of 20 packs at $22 a pack, or buy all of them for $5,000. Prices gifted at 3% for invoice if you wish, free shipping, best price on the market, DM offer, retweet, fave, whatever.
And this is all your screenshot.
The handle is at Snoopy Sneaker. And so Snoopy Sneaker here he looks like a sneakerhead, and he was talking about how he got all of the cards. Oh, and look, that page doesn't exist. That's weird. I try to click the tweet, and it's like
yep. They deleted it.
Oh, they deleted the tweet. So I'm glad you got a screenshot of it, but he said he had 10 windows open trying to buy as many packs. I know that there as many packs as he could at that time. It's first of all, I tried to buy some, but I had right off the bat trouble, so I just was like, I'm not going to get frustrated with it, because there's randomly an autograph. They didn't say how many, but there was it's paper. They're paper-based cards. That's really all that's in there. You're not getting any other chromes unless you get lucky enough to get an autograph. Nobody gives 2 shits about Bowman paper. Even if it is a Rushman, it's $1 or $2. No one cares. It's all about the chrome. It's all about the autographs. And so, whatever. Buy them if you want. I mean, you're paying a $7 premium, but you had to buy 20 packs. I mean, whatever. I like the fact now that Topps requires you to log in and have an actual account to make any purchases, because it does slow down the process and hopefully gets rid of the bots. But obviously, this person here,
140 packs available. Tagging watch the breaks. Oh, he's already been tagged on my post.
Yeah.
How'd you get 240 packs? Refreshed and used many tabs / windows and 10 accounts. Even though ethically you were only supposed to get 24 per day. Just curious. LOL. Bingo.
Yeah. So
he pulled down the thing because he sold out allegedly.
Sure.
I don't care either way, but in the end of the day, they're paper cards, and no one's going to give two craps about these once real Bowman drops. So,
I mean, look.
I'm not frustrated. No, once again, I'm not frustrated at all. I just think the whole process was kind of convoluted. I think 24 packs is probably what they were going to call a box. There's probably an auto a box, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of collectors lost their heads over it, but what I'm saying, it's not that big of a deal.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not. It's frustrating that people who we know that were trying to get packs couldn't get a single pack. Website was down left, right, and center. And this guy got the majority of them. Obviously, he's got a direct line into Topps' internet. It's unfortunate, but in the grand scheme of things, I wasn't going to buy one anyway. And there was just plenty to pick up a team set.
Yeah.
So if he wants to chase the autos or apparently sell them at a higher rate, whatever, more power to him, I guess.
No, I don't care. I just thought it was funny.
It's shitty. I mean, what can we do?
So here's some more douchebaggery. WPC scare tactics. So at Sports Card News, tweeted out, PWCC sends scare letter. It's blowout cards to lock a forum thread regarding a clearly trimmed 0304 UD Exquisite LeBron James rookie card. This letter is pretty awesome. And the fact that it's all blacked out here, but Steph's going to pull it up.
Oh, wow, that is there it goes.
There we go. Basically, this letter is a statement of perceived value lost to the below described asset in your ownership and currently in your storage vault with PWCC. And it goes over the card and it says there's a lot of people talking trash about the card, bringing down the value. The card's estimated worth is $600,000 to $700,000. And then it's like would not, there's just a lot of people talking, like they're just talking trash, and it's like, hey, I don't know.
I would love
this chucklehead. Why are people buying from this ass hat?
I don't know. I love that he used the word or the phrase perceived value. You're bringing down the perceived value. So if the entire market is talking shit about your card and it's lowering the perceived value, then the entire market is literally telling you the perceived value. I'm going to slow down for Brent just in case he decided to listen. Perceived value is determined by a fluid market. If the fluid market is talking smack and saying that this card has been altered or trimmed, thus lowering the perceived value, as you stated, guess what? The new perceived value is what they're dictating, not what you've predetermined it should be. He's literally crying, boo-hoo. You're lowering my perceived value. No. The market is telling you exactly what it is. Sorry that's not in line with what you told all of your high rollers and all your other fraudulent activities. Come on, cut your crap.
If you see PWCC in the listing, run the other way. We've showed stuff on here before where cards have sold for $10 or $12, and a PWCC one sold for $28. The same grade, the same card, everything's the same. How is that possible? Does that not tell you something?
That their days are limited?
But someone's pumping that price up when all day long there's other cards for half the price for the same damn card.
Or, getting texts from the auction saying, hey, pump it up. I know that it will go past that.
Yeah.
Allegedly, of course.
I had tweeted out that if Brent's not the biggest douchebag in the hobby, he's definitely top two. Because I mean, this guy's just a clown. I would absolutely love. Listen, if anybody out there has a line for Brent, he's welcome to come on here and discuss with us the fluid market.
Well, I might just email him here at what is it, douchebag at PWCCmarketplace.com.
Yeah,
So
I would
I'll drop him a line.
that guy to come on here, but it's going to be like this. If he comes on, there's no holds barred. We're going to ask him hard questions. I'd love to talk to him about what does he say? Perceived value. I'm not
or restoring a card like it fine artwork. Yeah. That interview he did with that chucklehead on that terrible podcast where it was, and today we have Brent Huggins on from PWCC.
Oh, Radicards?
No, it wasn't Steph's Boy Radicards. It was a different. I've shared it before.
Brent Huggins, please come on to our show because I would love to talk to you about perceived value, as you say, and I would love for you to teach me a thing or two, please.
It's almost like he's saying, hey, look, I know you replaced the engine and the transmission on that 64.5 Mustang, and there's totally no rust job done to the bottom restoration-wise, but I think it should sell for a regular 64 straight off the line would sell for.
He's such a cute kid.
Give me a 67, but...
it's...
Yeah, he was on Cardboard Chronicles, by the way, episode number 42. I want to drop a link in the chat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't PWC say something where it's like pass without something? I forget what the double C stands for.
Anyway, we're going to get on to a bright subject. We were supposed to have Dub Mentality on tonight, Joey, but he had to go catch chickens with his father-in-law out in the rain. I guess having some bad weather, something about chicken gathering and stuff you do in Georgia in the middle of the night.
We did have like 2 straight days of nasty hail and rain, so it's not implausible.
Oh, no, and I'm not blaming him. Right. Things happen. And so
if you're looking for a reason to just tell us that, hey,
you hate us, don't say I'm going to go catch some
chickens in the middle of the night.
Yeah. But no, so there are a couple things that popped this week. As you might not be able to see it. It's back.
The Dub went down to
right there. Dub Club. I got my Dub Club cards in, and so I asked him about that. And we're going to have him on because NFL draft happened last week. So real quick, I asked him, how'd you get the idea for the Dub Club? He said the idea came from a Frank Viola Stadium Club card I shared. Mark is a Met fan, and so he drew the card and put Dub Club and Dub Mentality Club instead of Stadium Club. A lot of people liked it, so he and I started talking about how we could make it bigger. It was his idea to do charity, and I loved it. How did you pick the cards? I picked the players first, just picked a few of my favorite players growing up and getting into the hobby. Then I went through and tried to find some of my favorite cards of those players. So there was a 10-card set. It's Ron Gant, Mark McGuire, Bo Jackson, Ozzie Smith. Hold on.
Other guys. He really should have been more prepared and had them in hand, I would think.
I hope you guys were talking while I was gone.
We were saying nothing but nice things about you. We were talking about how nice your backside looked on camera.
Ronnie Gant, Eric Davis. So it's an 88 best of baseball Ron Gant. 85 Fleer, Eric Davis. 89 Tops, Tony Gwynn. 85 Donruss, Darryl Strawberry. 89 Tops Traded, Griffey Jr. 90 Fleer, Frank the Big Hurt. 86 Tops Traded, Canseco. 82 Ozzie, that was his first card as a Cardinal. I believe that's a traded. An 80 or an 86 Tops Traded Bo. And the last one, an 89 Upper Deck Mark McGuire. And we'll talk about the backs of these cards here in a minute. And here's the checklist. Here's the Frank Viola checklist. So it has all the cards on the back. So I got card set 9 of 25. And so I said, what was the process like? He said, the process was really fun. I've made a lifelong friend out of it. Mark and I had a great time and really worked well together. He would show me the work in progress as he would draw. He draws he's very quick with the cards. So I said, who has the originals? Mark will have the artist proof original set, and he'll have a, quote, writer's proof set. And I said, what happened with the 89 Donner, or the 89 Upper Deck? Because it says, as half of the Bash Brothers with Canseco, Big Mac was the fiercest power hitter of the 90s. McGwire held the rookie home run record, 49, for 30 years. I always enjoyed his 87 tops, but the most owned card was his 85 Olympic True Rookie. I love how he dug it, Ben. And he said, I said, did you love the trolling Ben on the McGwire? After I chose the cards and players, Mark said he'd be willing to do some card backs, and if I had put together the blurbs. When I got to McGwire, I knew that I couldn't let it slide without mentioning 85 tops. I knew Ben would get a kick out of it, and I thought it would be a nice touch.
And that's why I said, hey, Dub couldn't come out to play tonight because apparently he's chasing chickens at midnight.
Yeah. And the other nice touch, it came with this little holder with the Dub Mentality logo, but also an autograph and the number, and all the cards are numbered on the back. I mean, just awesome. Mm-hmm. I have some other cards that Mark's done from the past that he's drawn. They're just amazing. And so I love the set. I know they sold out. I don't know if they're going to do some more. Also, too, our friend Jeff Gypsy Oak had his 2020 kitchen table cards out. And I bought a set right before I came on the show. And it's a 10-card set as well with some classic rookie cards on there. And you can always find him at Gypsy Oak on Twitter. And let me pull up who's on the checklist.
While you're doing that real quick,
yeah,
you mentioned some pretty big names in the hobby at that time. You know, guys like Jackson, obviously Bo Jackson, and Darryl Strawberry, who fizzled out for different reasons and their careers were cut short. But how the hell did somebody like Ron Gant end up on there? I mean, the guy is garbage compared to all of those other 9, right? You got 9 up here, and then you got Gant way down here. You're telling me that he couldn't have found anybody better from the Junk Wax era that would have been better than Ron? Who? Gant? Come on.
Hey, Gant was a pretty big name back then.
For like a season and a half. Come on. Gant wasn't even – I mean, you could have went with Terry Pendleton, Mark Lemke. There was a ton of better Atlanta Braves. Come on. I'm talking about Braves. I mean, there was a lot of better Braves. I mean, Steve Avery? You're telling me you could have fit
Bream.
You could have fit Bream in there? That one catcher that was that one backup guy? I mean, come on.
Francisco Cabrera.
Yeah, that
so
guy.
the Project Kitchen Table 2020 by Gypsy Oak. Here's the 10 cards. An 85 Gooden, 2011 Trout, 52 Mays, 89 Griffey, 54 Williams, 69 Ryan, 82 Ripken, 59 Gibson, 75 Brett, and a 52 Robinson.
Nice.
So,
and Jeff's artwork. I mean, I look at Jeff's artwork in my bedroom every day because I commissioned him. I know you did one for Robbie. I did one for Bentley and Jonathan 2 Christmases ago. So yeah, I mean, I wake up and go to sleep looking at Jeff's artwork on my wall because it's right next to my bed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have a piece of Jeff's artwork in your collection, you gotta go to at Gypsy Oak on Twitter.
And his stuff's reasonably priced. It really is. It's such high quality. I mean,
yeah, he is a phenomenal artist. And whether you want baseball guys, he's got those, or whether you got a picture of your kids or your spouse or yourself, and
so
yeah, this is what he does for a living. This was phenomenal.
This was the picture of Robbie that he did. I have it in color for my wife, but he also sent these little 4x6 color prints as well that we gave out because I gave it to my wife for Mother's Day. But I've gave these out to my mother-in-law and my mom for Mother's Day as well. And then he has these cool little stickers he puts on the back. And you know, I have a couple left, and it's priceless artwork in our house. And
it is. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. When I asked Jeff if he'd be willing to draw my kids for my wife, I mean, the night I gave them to her, I was like, "Listen, man, you know, when you're talking about the hobby, the most precious piece is what?" And she's like, "What? Like a 1-on-1?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, you're about to get 2 1-on-1s," and she started crying because she was just floored. And again, his artwork is awesome, and he doesn't necessarily do that block style. He has another style. My kids weren't done in that block style like he did on those cards. which is his trademark. Those are most of his artwork looks like that, which is awesome. So if you're looking for, it's probably too late for Mother's Day, but if your significant other has a birthday coming up, an anniversary coming up, or just a rando day in August coming up, give him a little bit of lead time, of course.
And he does great work, and it for what you pay and what you get, it's not even close. So,
and I don't know if I'm speaking just for the last order that I have. He usually tosses in a couple extras as well.
Oh, there's always extras. I've never had something come to me without having those little tiny stamps he does,
right?
Or like other cards he's done. Like I hold on to all that. I have a special box. I put them all in. If it's not like the George Brett ones I've bought or some of the Giants ones.
That.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Let me just quickly cover up the address here, but
yeah. I mean, I know we've had artists on here before, like Ken Carl, and Ken's artwork's amazing. It's almost a disservice that people like Gypsy Oak and Ken Carl weren't included with the Project 2020 because
maybe they will.
And maybe they will. Maybe 2020, Project 2021.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be a part of it. I would absolutely. I'd tell you what. I would figure out a way to stretch my budget.
So we're going to get into it real quick.
I brought 20 of the Jeff's pieces.
Yeah. The 2020 NFL draft happened this past weekend, Thursday through Saturday. The first virtual draft ever. There are 255 picks in 7 rounds. There were and we're really going to talk about this just for collecting purposes. There were 13 quarterbacks, 18 running backs, 35 wide receivers, and 12 tight ends taken. Some first-round players to watch are 4 quarterbacks in the first round. The Bengals took Joe Burrow, number 1. Tua Tagovailoa was taken 5 by the Dolphins. Justin Herbert was taken 6 by the Chargers, and Jordan Love, controversial pick at 26 by the Packers. Or 1 in running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire by the Chiefs at 32. And then 6 wide receivers went in the first. The Raiders took Henry Ruggs at 12, Broncos Jerry Jeudy at 15. CeeDee Lamb went to the Cowboys at 17. Jalen Reagor went to the Eagles at 21. The Vikings took Justin Jefferson at 22, and the 49ers took Brandon Ayuk at 25. Some other notable draft picks were the Bengals took T. Higgins, a wide receiver, in the second round. DeAndre Swift went to the Lions in the second round, as well as Jonathan Taylor, running back to the Colts. Jalen Hurts was a surprise, I think, to the Eagles in the second round. Not that he was a second-round pick, but he went to the Eagles. J.K. Dobbins went to the Ravens. Jacob Eason went to my Colts, and Jake Fromm went in the 5th round to the Bills. So those are some guys to look for in the draft to coming out. But, normally the rookie premiere happens usually it was like June or July. They're down there for a few days doing a photo shoot. Do you guys think that's going to happen, or what do you think that's going to look like? Are we not going to have traditional rookie card shots?
I would say that it's not. They're probably not going to have the traditional rollout as far as social media pictures and, all in tight in an office signing with 4 or 5 guys in a line. But I don't see why on a huge football field with the photographers and the camera and all of the tech that goes along that they can't get photos at least.
So
yeah.
Should they? Probably not. But
Dub had some notes, and so I asked him. I go, "Who do you think are who's the most collectible players in this?" And he said, "Obviously Burrow and some of the quarterbacks, Tua, Herbert, Eason will be collectible." He was a little disappointed where his boy Jacob Fromm landed with the Bills because they already have a young franchise guy at or who they think is a franchise guy at quarterback with Josh Allen with the Bills.
But do they?
I think he will get every opportunity for the next 4 years to play that out. So
he will, but look at this. I was going to say Jake Fromm probably is going to be the most collectible if you're looking to park some money in a player and maybe pull more money out. I always say look where other people aren't looking. Right, Fromm's got some name recognition, and they literally. And I don't think you can deny this. That defense is solid, right? It's going to be just as good, if not better, this year than it was last year. And that offense with Diggs and the young running back that they got in the draft, they're going to be much better on offense. They literally are going to give Josh Allen every opportunity to succeed. And if he doesn't, this year, he might have a short leash going into next year, especially if Fromm shows any potential. So I don't necessarily think Fromm going to Buffalo is as bad as, say, Jordan Love going to Green Bay.
Yeah, so we'll see. He thinks the under the radar guy is Edwards-Helaire to the Chiefs. He's basically said what Alvin Kamara should have been in college. He's a little bit bigger than Sproles and James White type. He was compared to Brian Westbrook, and Andy Reid said he's even better than Brian Westbrook. And you remember how awesome Brian Westbrook was. He is. Don't sleep on the LSU receivers at all. One of it being Justin Jefferson and went to the Vite Queens. And then the defensive part, he likes Russ Blacklock, Zach Braun from Wisconsin. Xavier McKinney went his second-round pick to the Giants. He was a safety at Alabama who was supposedly going to be a first-round pick. And then Derek Brown, who went to the Panthers. But he says the biggest sleeper is probably Eno Benjamin. I think he was a seventh-round pick, and I don't remember where he went, but he's out of ASU. And he said Andrew Thomas was the best Bulldog that ended up in the best situation when he went to the Giants. I think he fits well there, and also to Isaiah Wilson, who's a guard, hanging out with Derrick Henry and being a big mauler in Tennessee. So I really appreciate Dub's notes, and wish we could have him on. He'll be on soon. We'll have him on. I think Jerry Jeudy landed. I think he's the best receiver in this draft. Obviously, the Raiders screwed up and they took the fastest guy in the draft. But Jerry Jeudy, I think, is the most complete receiver. And I think going to Denver with Locke at quarterback, they signed Gordon. They have Philip Lindsay. They have, oh, God, his name just fell out of my head. Courtney Sutton. Yeah. They have Noah Fant. They drafted another tight end this year. I think that they have some offensive weapons to go with the defensive-minded head coach that could make them, have an awesome offense. And, so it's cool. Brandon Ayuk, pulling for him because he's local. He's from Rockland, if you didn't know that, Steph, or Ben. He they ended up for the 49ers.
Yeah, and he played against Sac State during this past year.
Yeah.
So we got to see him up close. So it's kind of cool for anybody that went to that game.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah,
we have. So this came up when we were talking about Gary Sheffield being a Marlin, and some people said Padres. Somebody said they wanted to see him with the grill when he was with the Brewers. But who was the first? So we've had 4 expansion teams really since the 90s. We've had the Marlins, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, and the Rays. Ray, or like when you think of the Florida Marlins, aka Miami Marlins, who do you think of? Who's the first player that comes to mind?
So I guess that means no Billy the Marlin, the mascot.
No, it's a player.
I still think it's got to be probably Stanton, and that's probably just because he's more recent and because of the big contract. Sure. I think a lot of us are going to forget about the Jeff Conines of the world and some of the earlier late 90s Marlins like Sheffield and Ivan Rodriguez was there and Lieberthal and they had a lot.
Lieberthal was a Marlin? No, he wasn't.
I thought he was.
Darren Dalton.
One of those catchers. I don't know.
Darren Dalton.
One of those catchers were. But Mike Piazza, Marlins legend.
He was there for a week.
Maybe not even, but still, man, it was.
Steph, who's your Marlin? Because you can't, Ben can't name one. So
Miguel Cabrera. I know it's kind of shortened, much like Stanton, but he kind of helped that 2003 push.
Yeah, mine, Derek Lee, and that's just personal connection. But
yeah,
Charles Johnson. Yeah, there's another good one.
Sure.
Who's the first Rocky you think of?
Helton.
Helton who? What did you say, Steph?
Tulo.
You know who I think of? I have a few, but Vinny Castilla, Ellis Burks, and Larry Walker, Dante Bichette. They had the big cat, Galarraga. So
I think it will be Arenado if you ask this question 5 years from now. But
Steph's over here at the drag races tonight, everybody.
I know that I mentioned Mustangs earlier, but they can knock it off. Shit.
Who's the Diamondback you think of?
Goldschmidt.
Randy Johnson.
Yeah, I agree with both those. Bin Young Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Luis
Two?
Gonzalez, right? And the Ray.
Longoria. I mean, is there any other option?
Oh, Nash. No,
Is there a second one? I mean, Delman Young,
yeah.
Josh Hamilton.
For a year or two, though. Wade Boggs, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jose Canseco, McGriff, and Boggs. I mean,
Greg Vaughn.
Greg Vaughn.
Yeah. They signed all the names. Like, they were signed a senior league softball team, and they just picked up names.
Yeah, the late 90s Rays would have been phenomenal.
I just want to know, who was running that flipping team? Like, just sign all the old big names, like, whatever.
They were kind of like the baseball version of the Washington Redskins. Well, I guess the Redskins did it after the fact when Schneider first took over, and he's like, "Oh, Bruce Smith and Albert Hainsworth, and let's just gobble them all up."
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is great. I mean, and again, great if they were 7 years earlier.
Yeah, B.J. Upton, Melvin Upton Jr. We had a couple of viewer questions come in. We're going to end the show here on these. So cards are fire. Rumor has that MLB is talking about expanding rosters this year and no minor league season. Does that mean a massive update series, or are these already done and we'll have to wait for 2021? I think it's a wait and see to see if we have a season.
Right.
Let's start there.
I mean, they may have been working out the designs, and usually right about in a month or so is when they announce the 2021 design. Would have announced the 2021 design. I think they're maybe in the concept stage for update. I don't see that they have all of the names and all of everything else down just yet.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a while. We have to wait there. At Mets Rev, if you're not checking out, he has some videos up, and he talks about his faith and collecting, and just a great guy. When you all got back into the hobby, what eventually helped you narrow down your focus in collecting? Budget, favorite team, player? Once you did narrow it down, did you still pick up occasional one-off set or rookie card? It took. God, I hopped in back in 12, and I narrowed my focus, and it took me 5 years. Probably 2017 I started, and I've really started to narrow down. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I hunkered down to Brett and Posey, Giants and Royals cards, and then occasionally, like, I've picked up Prism basketball as an offset, and then also now Upper Deck hockey. And so those are some things there. It was more of, I tried to kind of collect everything early on, and I found out what I liked and I didn't like, and I just kind of started weeding stuff out and came. So the thing is you can't collect it all. Find out what you like, buy different things and open it and see what it's like, and then, find what you really want to do.
Yeah, no, I can't agree. When I first started, I kind of wanted to have a personal attachment to it, so I went with my hometown and my home state for my collections, and obviously it was a bit easier to collect the junk wax and the base sets than it was, say, triple threads or some of the higher tier stuff that these companies release. But I can scratch a checklist on a sheet of paper and forget about it, and eventually, hey, what do I have for this set? Well, I need these 3 numbers. So I kind of went with base and the hometown connection, home state.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier too. I was speaking about it, about asking yourself what makes you happy. Is my PC going to be complete or incomplete? Is it going to be better with this? It took me 2 years from 2010 to 2012 to decide I just wanted to be an A's collector only, and couldn't collect it all, and left a lot of incomplete sets out in the garage. And do I expand that once in a while? Yeah, I mean, I expanded it with Topps Living. You want to collect something kind of off the wall, like the Dub Mentality set that's hand drawn. That's fun. If you want to buy complete sets of Flagship, cool. Again, stay as disciplined as you can once you decide what your hobby focus is. But it's okay to expand it once in a while when something novel comes along.
And if it changes and you sell or get rid of the other stuff, then definitely. I talked about, I purged 100,000 cards back here of mostly Topps Flagship from 80 through like 96, 97 this week. Because at one time I was like, I really want to hold on to these, but I was like, I already have all the complete sets. Why do I need all these dupes? And they all went to team homes, like people that collected that team, so
right.
It made space for the other stuff I have in my collection and I want to keep. And So it's just kind of find your way, and it will take some time. Buy a little of anything you want. Just buy a little, try it out, see what it's like. It's kind of like finding your favorite restaurants in new towns, right? You try different places, then you start finding your favorite spot, and then that's your go-to place, right?
And try different things on the menu too. You mentioned it earlier, Shep. How many of autos of X player do you need? For some people, they need it all. For somebody like our friend Tanner Jones, you need them all of Canseco when he was the Canseco Super Collector. For other people, maybe you only need one or two, or you only want certain releases of it. I don't need Inception, but I definitely want Gypsy. I don't need Archive Signature Series, but I definitely have to have Heritage.
Yeah.
And it's okay to create a checklist for yourself that you ask yourself.
And if you want help, reach out. I mean, the three of us, I think, are definitely open to helping anybody out. And so it's there. The last one is at Henry Arnold 6. Hi, wondering if you could help. Recently got into trading cards after my hometown football, quote, soccer team and basketball teams made trading cards. Since completing the sets, I found this podcast, and I'd love to carry on collecting sports cards, but don't know what the best way to start is. Any suggestions or help would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. I think it kind of folds back into the other one. But just try it. Go retail and say, hey, I'm going to give myself $100. I'm going to go buy 5 different blasters, or I'm going to buy 10 different, hanger boxes. $100 of retail can get you a big variety of stuff if it's available right now, which a lot of it's not. But once it's there and it's plentiful, even if it was $50 and you bought 5 different hanger boxes, you bought a basketball, a football, a soccer, a wrestling, whatever, baseball, you're going to get a good taste of everything and see what's out there. And then you're going to start to find what you like. Yep. And then just start collecting that. I think, that's our best advice. And listen to, I'm not bragging, but our show talks about new stuff that's out there, different stuff. Find a podcast or a video show that you like. Watch breaks.
Yeah, that's great.
Mojo Break. You can watch Firehand Break.
Midwest.
What's up?
Midwest
Breaks.
Crack and Wax.
Those are some really good ones to start. I mean, if you want to see some higher end stuff, Phil Hughes does that kind of stuff. You can watch Houdini from Blowout Open, all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot of good hobby things out here. That's the one thing I really miss. I don't know if I'm just missing if Beckett's not doing anymore, but they would do the box busters when they have new product releases, and they would open a box and talk about it. And it was usually the mainstream brands, but you would get to see it. And they would have the baseball editor open it, and he would talk about it. And, so.
My only caveat as a follow-up, kind of a 1A, 1B to what you said, Tim, was if you really have a favorite sport, buy multiple products within that sport.
Yeah.
If you can. That way you're not all over the board and you have a little bit more of a focus. If you're really a football guy, really concentrate on football. Buy 3 or 4 different products. That's just going to save you a lot of money and a lot of time in the long run. That may not work for everybody, but if it can, I would definitely say buy as much of your sport of choice and maybe buy a couple of packs if you have a local card shop once they reopen.
Yeah.
Buy a few packs here and there.
And most collectors are really they might collect 3 sports, but they're 75% one sport and 12.5 on the other 2. Mm-hmm. It's really unique to find a collector that'd be a third, right? Or a quarter, right? There's, I'm probably 95% baseball, and I have a little basketball and a little hockey I collect, and I collect only a couple of football things, and they're Prism rookie quarterback rookie cards, and that's it. That's the only football I'm collecting anymore. So
the one thing I would tack onto that is, one, do what you just did. Ask questions to people that are more knowledgeable. I found that the majority of people are more than willing to share. And 2, if a hobby shop's out of the possibility, just because, he mentioned football, so maybe he lives in Spain or England or somewhere where they just don't have those, or they're way far away. Check out a show if they have one, or see if there's a local trading group that does a virtual show. I know there were a few people that were talking about trying to set one of those up.
Yeah. So a lot of different ways, and we'll be here as a resource, and always reach out to us, and we'll go from there. But any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
No. Hope everyone stays healthy.
Yeah, same here, and I'm glad to see you guys are doing well. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. We hit over 500 on YouTube this last week, so we're very excited about that. Next milestone is 1,000. It only took us almost 100 shows to get to 500, so we'll see. I'm very excited. We have a couple more shows before we hit 100, so that's going to be outstanding. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You always follow me at Big Shep 79. Please share your hobby stories, great pulls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting. And, guys, we will see you all next week. But I forgot we have a giveaway.
We do.
I forgot to write it down. So stop the presses. Ben, how are you going to do this giveaway?
Yeah, do we want to push it till next week and we give everybody one more chance to leave a comment?
Yeah.
And we do it at the top of next week's show. That way
top of next week's show. Leave a comment on this show, last week's show, the week before. So episode 94, 5, or 6. Leave a positive comment. You'll get an entry. So you could get 3 entries to win an autographed rookie card. And
we're going to have Blake Jameson on next week, and I think we're going to see if he has a giveaway for our listeners as well. I asked him if he might have an extra something laying around, something he might be able to sign and shoot off. So we'll see. No promises, but we'll see.
He's one of the top Project 2020 artists. So, all right, fellas, we'll see y'all next week. Have a good one, and just keep collecting.
Yeah.